Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome to the Next Block, episode 107. Some crazy stuff has been happening in the market. Y'all seen the meme stock madness. I don't know what that could mean for the whole overall market, but a couple things have spread over to crypto. How you doing, crypto for change?
I'm doing pretty good, Getting a little bit of a relief bounce in the markets. Kind of as you were saying, meme coins have been kind of making a little bit of a move back up. We saw Pepe kind of take off some,
Yo,
setting
little
new all-time
Pepe.
highs. And WIF, I think, is still, doing fine. Some of the other bigger name ones. But I think obviously the spotlight right now is still Bitcoin, right? All eyes are still on Bitcoin. I mean, today alone, Bitcoin is up 8% as I'm looking at it. Obviously, this is a premiered, so we're actually filming this the day before, which is on the 15th. Just so in
At the
case you're
time of this
watching,
video,
yeah, just in case you're watching and you're like, Bitcoin is not, because maybe it'll be down 8% tomorrow. We don't know. But as we're recording, right, Bitcoin is up pretty much 8%, sitting at 66,500 roughly. And this is, I've been following a lot of analysts, who are charting a lot of what's going on. And it's just an interesting time, I feel like, because 50% of the people I see charting are showing, that this is the crossing of the chasm, right? We're about to be heading back to 74K, probably going to the 80, 90K before maybe a slight retrace, and then we're going to 100K plus, right? So you have that camp, and then you have the other camp that's like, this is a distribution top, don't get sucked into this bull trap. We're going much lower, like 50Ks, maybe even into the 40K range before we make that next big move upwards later in the year. So, and even when you look at the past cycles of Bitcoin, right, and you look at the halving and what the halving kind of does to Bitcoin, usually you have that chop. And then, a couple months after, you start to get that, revert back to going bullish. And, we're about a month out, or a little bit, almost a month out from the halving. And so it's interesting right now. I mean, I feel like the market could literally go either way. I mean, like right now, like I say, we're seeing Bitcoin make an impulsive move. And honestly, I just feel like whichever way it's going to go, it's going to catch everybody off guard. Like right now, I feel like my timeline seems pretty bearish overall. Like I feel like most people are expecting, Bitcoin to tank. So that's what gives me a little bit of hope that we're actually going to go higher, right? We're going to see 70, 80K Bitcoin very soon. But this area right now that we're at, and most of the people that I see that are even charting bearish and bullish sides of Bitcoin are kind of showing that 67K to 69K is a potential zone to see a rejection, right? Where Bitcoin might have to fall back down a little bit before actually pushing through. And obviously, we're seeing a little bit of slowed momentum right at 67K. So, that's kind of where my thoughts are. And then obviously, meme coins. I think, a lot of memes got blasted over the past month. And I think you're seeing, a lot of, consolidation in that. Even base, right? I was big on base. There's a lot of base memes that took off and were running hot. But this is base's first, like, meme season, right? Like this is like, I think I saw a statistic that said that there were more tokens created on base in this past like little bit of time, right, than on Ethereum's entirety. So you're seeing, I think, to some extent, what they talk about when they talk about layer 2 scaling and the ability to do a lot more through these layer 2s than was what was previously able to be done on layer 1. So I think that's what you're seeing. And I think a lot of people are just having fun, making new tokens left and right all day, every day. And I think that's why you saw a big fall in the memes, right? Even some of the bigger ones held, but you just saw a lot of, there's a lot of fluff in the market. So
yeah, definitely a lot of fluff. Communities are trying to keep everything together, but you can only tweet so much after a while.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you can feel the vibes shift once the top is kind of set in, and everyone starts to really realize it. Like, all right, well, that was fun while it lasted, and that's the thing with memes, right? Like, well, I'll say this. That's the thing with this entire space, because I still like, that comment I made when we were talking with Tony, where like everything is a meme. It still kind of rings true to me. Like I know there is some utility in the things being built, right? I think Algorand has a lot of utility with its tech and what can be built on it. But I'm talking about the tokens themselves. Most everything is a meme. And the second people start smelling that, what, that was a really hot run, and now it's time to cool off. In crypto, everybody gets out fast. And that's why you saw so many tokens, even like, Algorand, it ran up to 30 cents, a little bit above 30 cents. And then now it's all the way back down, sitting at like 16, 17 cents. I think it's maybe moved up a little bit today, but that's still just where we're at. Is everything is just, conviction's hard to come by when people know how fast some of these coins can drop.
Well, if you look at the stock market, right, the whole month of April, historically, it usually is a good month, but this is one of those years where April was not a good month. So you had, most of the whole market went down and everybody was nervous, right? And then if you look at inflation with the CPI, Jerome Powell, at the time of this video, he's talking this week. It's not looking good for inflation overall as well. And another chart I like to follow is the copper futures. And copper futures is, for home building and things of that nature. And that thing just hit an all-time high. So that is a sign of more inflation, right? But the dollar has been going down. So the dollar has been going down. The 10-year yield has also been going down. And I think that's part of the reason why we're getting a little bounce with the SPY hitting all-time high again. So that month of downtrend, I think it sucked crypto with it, honestly. And that's why we're probably getting some of our bounces right now. But again, I agree with you. How long will it last? I'm a little bearish, to be honest, as well.
Yeah.
A little bearish.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, especially when you look at like CPI came in, it was, lower than expected, right? So inflation to somewhat extent, at least this data print is, not bad, right? It does give a little bit of relief for those markets to start moving. And then you also have some of the, shenanigans, I'll say, with, crypto or roaring kitty or whatever.
Let me get this ready.
Yeah, that stuff right there was wild, right? I think I saw something was like 5 billion worth of shorts. Hedge funds got liquidated off of the GameStop pump again.
I think in 2 days.
Yeah, it's wild. And it's so funny too, because like I was seeing a lot of tweets and some videos of people on Wall Street, like Jim, Cramer, and even other guys. Like you can just see it in their tweets. They're so pissed because they probably had shorts on GameStop and they just got effed again by the same dude. Obviously, who knows if this was more scripted this time, right? I mean, who knows if he wasn't, if there wasn't other people in on it, but it just takes you back to the real, the bull market last time did start when GameStop, AMC, and all these stocks, once you kind of had, the Wall Street bros and the traditional finance bros kind of pumping and memeing things into existence, then you kind of had that really big meme season happen for crypto. So it'll be interesting to see, is this a repeat again where Bitcoin's about to run into all-time highs, and then you're going to see altcoins, meme coins, and stocks continue to fly and just go crazy? Or is this just a really big psyop and we're about to go back bearish? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I will say there are a few charts that I still believe that if you zoom out and you're looking at Bitcoin's long-term trend, right? And the one I'm looking at is the Piy Cycle indicator. And we are, we've touched, right? We came back down and we touched that orange line, which I think is the 111-day moving average for Bitcoin. And it's bounced off of it, right? And every time, if you look in the past, during the bull market, when it pumped and touched off those lines, it went on to set, the next high in the cycle. So I think there's plenty of reason and plenty of legs to say Bitcoin could go to 70, 80K over the next month. I just, obviously I'm not leveraged. I'm not buying and doing anything like that. You just got to watch, how you trade it. But that's, there's definitely legs, and the excitement could be there. I think it mainly depends upon the liquidity. And that's where you also, I don't know how much you saw, but everybody's talking about this banana zone that we're in right now.
Yeah. What is that?
I mean, honestly, I have not done, a ton of research into it. At this point, it almost seems like people are just making stuff up. Like, I'm sure it actually is a legit thing. I
heard of a banana republic, but I don't know about a banana zone there.
Right. Let me go see if I can pull up a tweet that kind of shows and reflects exactly what it is. Here we go. Yeah. I'm going to share real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is what they call the banana zone. I'm going to pull up this image. So obviously, and this is zoomed out to the yearly. And if you look, this is looking at summer, spring, fall, and winter.
So the yellow is banana.
Of total liquidity index. So this isn't like this isn't the S&P. This isn't a chart of a stock or anything in specific. This is talking about liquidity in the markets, right? And this is going back. I will say, I wish I haven't like I said, I have not done a ton of research on this, but I wish I could see back before and see what 08 and the dot-com bubble and those times look like. But this is still from the rally that was post that really, I think we've been in just a macro bull market since, right? Since 2011, 2012. Yes, there's been the COVID crash and other hiccups along the way, but for the majority, this is still the same bull run. And if you look at this in this yellow zone and red zone, right, this is when you have somewhat of the biggest run up, the meat of the move, I would say, right? And through this banana zone to, the summer fall. I mean, especially back here. But like I said, this right here, you got to think this was COVID, right? This is when they injected a ton of liquidity into the markets. So I definitely don't expect anything like this right now, especially with interest rates where they're at, like some of the stuff we discussed earlier. But we are, the green has been mostly sideways. It's pretty much played out to a T, and we're entering summer. Summer into fall. So I definitely think, and this still goes back to my thesis that I've been saying for the past few months of our show, which is I think the top of this bull market is going to come sooner rather than later. I know a lot of people are thinking 2025, 2026, and honestly, it could, right? It could definitely run up into 2025 early, but I'm thinking we will see it maybe by the end of this summer, which would be in the end of 2024.
It definitely looks like a lot of resistance in 2023.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely more. I mean, back to similar like 2019, for sure. But I'm definitely thinking that this year, especially with elections and things going on, we're definitely going to see still more upside. That's why even if we did see a flash crash of Bitcoin down to 50, 40K, right? I would see that, in my opinion, as a tremendous buying opportunity. Now, if you're in alts, they're going to get decimated. So you better be ready for that.
90% down on some of them.
Exactly. So you got to be ready for that. But if you're in Bitcoin, I would see that as a massive opportunity to scale in because, like I say, we're in a period over the next 2 years, this year, or really to end this year and into some of next year, where we're probably going to see a top in these markets. So that was kind of something that, I've kind of saw. And this is Raoul Paul, who is tweeting this out.
Shout out. We got to get him on the show.
That would be pretty cool. But he also he does go in a lot more depth. So like this chart's not it. If you go and follow him and you click on this thread, he's got a crap ton of information, like almost like 20 tweets worth.
Well, I've been watching a lot of his videos, and he's like, basically, don't F this up. That's his big thing right now. Don't F this up. And he's saying we all essentially got 6 years to get rich because it's about to go down in 2030.
Like it's crazy because like that's the one thing that I feel like is why I have so much pressure on trying to find some of these gems that are out here. Is like I know I need to get land. I know I need to get self-sustaining better because like I don't know, you just know something's coming, especially when all the elites are out here buying up farmland and buying bunkers
up and whatnot.
Like something's fucking coming. Like there is too much stuff being revealed in the macro. Like I literally watched an interview today between Aaron Rodgers or a little clip from that interview of Aaron Rodgers and
Aaron Rodgers is making all the waves right now.
I mean, I'll say this, he's wide awake. He's fucking saying the shit that everybody should be saying, that, there's crazy stuff going on. And like, the more that this stuff comes to light, the more crazy the world's only going to get. And so like, I definitely know that like we're going to a cashless society and all these, kind of could be scary things, but it's like, I think it'll only be scary to those maybe who are dependent, right? I mean, I saw today also in the news, Cuba, right? Cuba banks, ATMs out of money. People are, upset. Like they're literally their fiat currency is crumbling right underneath them. And, I know that, there's a lot of big differences between the USA and Cuba, but still we're seeing, slight rumors of that, right? We're seeing banks collapse and I'll say this, I think we're going to see another banking crisis in probably next year, right? Or whenever this whole market does
collapse. The banking, what happened is like, I think it was, within the last 20 years or so-ish, don't quote me 100%, but it was like 40,000 banks or something like that in the last 50 years. And now we're down to like 4,000. And then we saw the big consolidation last year. JP Morgan each time gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Exactly. When I grew up, JP Morgan wasn't with Chase. You know, now they're with, you know, they took Chase over, they're taking everything, and they're only getting bigger.
And they're buying Bitcoin, even though they say it's a scam. That's
Jamie Dimon says it's a scam.
Yeah. That's just,
he don't speak for the company.
Yeah, true. And that's also, you know, the Vanguard, right? The CEO or the guy that was in charge of Vanguard before said they're never going to buy Bitcoin, not going to, you know, do the ETFs. And now the guy who took that position is the guy that helped BlackRock's ETF filing and all that stuff. So like, that's the reason why I feel like, especially with so many of the different things that are happening behind the scenes, like, yes, there's not the big catalyst news like the halving or the ETFs for Bitcoin, but like and that's what I feel like is happening right now. We are seeing Bitcoin trade sideways for over a month, and people are capitulating because of they're just tired of waiting for it to move.
Let's pull the Bitcoin chart up and then hit our little ad break real quick.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
go to it.
But it's crazy to think if you can pull up a trading view chart of it, but if not, I can pull up mine.
Let's see if this works out.
Yeah, if you don't have it, I'll pull. Yeah, you got it right there. But yeah, zoom out to like the daily. Yeah. So like right there, you're literally seeing from mid-March, you know, early March, literally it's the same price. And yet the timeline is so bearish. And it's like this right here, in my opinion, is what exactly happened if you go back to you know, look at 2023 there, and you look at the you know, summer, right, where it traded sideways from, you know, no, I'm looking down here and to the right.
Oh, right here.
No.
Oh, you going down.
Yeah. That long period right there where it consolidated for a while. And then
a year and a half, basically.
And you kind of had it right at the start of January this year with the consolidation, right? Bitcoin made the big bump up. And then it consolidated. A lot of people capitulated, especially on that last wick, and then boom, it skyrocketed up. And I think
it's looking like one of those, you know, ascending or descending triangles a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bull flag in my opinion. A
bull flag,
descending, broadening wedge, however you want to call it.
Whatever word you want to say.
Exactly. I mean, you know, some people are saying, no, this is a top. It's a distribution top. To me, it doesn't look topish. Like this would not, I mean, maybe and I have heard the theory of a mid-cycle top. Maybe it's a mid-cycle top, but I still don't even believe that because
volume is a little bit lower.
But that's, in my opinion, when the volume is going low, and especially now when you're seeing the price start to shoot up, I still think that's bullish. And
distribution.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Like I said, we're going to see in the coming weeks where Bitcoin's at. I would not be surprised by the end of May to still see Bitcoin ranging in 60, 70K. But at the same time, you know, it's a monthly candle. Yeah. We'll have to see where this monthly candle closes. If that monthly candle can get back above and close above the, you know, I mean, I'll say this, as long as that monthly candle stays above the, you know, tops right there of the last cycle, I think it's bullish. I think if May can end above like that 64, 63K, I don't see any reason why Bitcoin's not going to continue.
One can say we're in a giant cup and handle.
Or even a reverse head and shoulders. And that's where if you, you know, if you want to draw the lines there to showcase where those would be at, right there's your one.
A little bit here, then a little handle kind of.
Yep.
And then head and shoulder a little bit.
Well, no. I was thinking it would be the other.
Like giant head and shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all don't mind my lines real quick. So we're going to hit a commercial break, get my drawing a break as well, and then we'll be right back. Okay. You got a chart to show?
Yeah. Let me share mine. So yeah, one of the things, like I was saying here, that I feel like we're kind of seeing, and this is just if you draw it out, but like you could say this is a big shoulder, this is your head, and this is the possible other shoulder, and that's where that's where you're getting that bullish momentum upwards, for Bitcoin. And I even say this. You look at the stochastic RSI, which, the RSI as well, it did have a bearish cross. But if you look at the stochastic RSI, especially, and this is in a bull run, right? We're not going to look at some of these back here because this is in a bear. But in the bull, every single time that we saw the stochastic RSI get down to this oversold territory, it's been a good time to buy. And I'll just highlight those with a vertical line. So we go right here, boom. That would have been a great time to buy Bitcoin right there. Whoops. And then we go right here. Didn't even get as low there, but boom, that'd have been another great spot to buy. I'll even zoom in. Like that would have been the week that it was at its lowest. And right now you also have a bullish cross forming. Like, right here obviously would have been the time, that it was hitting zero, but you have the cross happening as long as this is on the weekly chart, as long as this weekly candle still stays good. But that's what you're looking like. And even right here, this one, when it was at the bottom, marked literally almost the bottom of the FTX, crash. So in my opinion, right there, the data shows this is a great time. It was a great spot last week to buy Bitcoin. It's still probably a good spot, obviously, but last week when it was at the 59, K area was a little bit better entry for this next possible move up. And then last thing I want to share is, let me see here, this, which is the, I guess it didn't. Oh yeah, I'm showing up window. Hold on, I'll switch it over. Present, share screen. Which is that Piy Cycle top indicator chart. Now, this literally has nailed the top to a T every single time if you follow this chart. And I've put it on my socials. I've also shown it here a few times. But if you look over here where we're at, we're not even above the green line. In past bull markets, Bitcoin's price, the price is the black line, has got above that green line every single time. And the one that I think that this bull market cycle is most similar to is this run from 2016 through 2018. I think this is what we're seeing. And I think right now, like, we touched that green line and bounced down to the yellow line or the orange line. And I think we are somewhere right in here as far as it goes, because we're also near all-time highs, which that's where this was back in 2016, 2017 for the Bitcoin price. And what happened after we touched it right there? We ran above the green line, came back to still touch it almost 3 times before hitting that blow off top. We're nowhere near a blow off top yet. And I'll say this right now, that green line is at 82,856. So for Bitcoin to even do what it's done in the past cycles and get above that green line, we're going to have to get above 82,000. Now, there are some out there that say, no, this is a mid-cycle correction. If that's the case, maybe they're thinking we're somewhere right in through here, right? And maybe we're touching on that orange line, but we're about to fall through it. The only thing that I would say there is, this is COVID. Like, that's all that is. That is COVID. And then you had the massive amount of liquidity that pushed us back up. That is a black swan, and a very, very rare black swan. That's why I'm looking at this run for Bitcoin, because this is when there was no, crazy pandemic. The world didn't shut down and all that craziness. Now, not to say we can't have anything that crazy. I just don't foresee it. I think with elections, I think with so much the other macro things that are happening in the space, especially with inflation still staying somewhat tamed and rates not getting cut yet, I still think we're in the Goldilocks period, and I think Bitcoin's about to make that next move up to above 82,000. So those are my charts.
Y'all in the chat, keep your fingers crossed. That's what we would all like and need, is some more Bitcoin action. So
that's what we need, because that's the thing is, when Bitcoin in a bull market, when Bitcoin goes up and it goes up fast, alts go up twice as fast. And I'll even say this, I know we didn't bring it up, but look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. That thing is in it's been in a move straight up and to the right, and it's starting to show some weakness again and falling out of that. And I think alt season is, it might not be as big as it has been in the past, especially for your specific coin. And that's not to say your coin or the token you're holding isn't good. It's just there's so much more now. Like in bull markets past, when alt season happened, there wasn't millions and millions of coins on top of meme coins getting created every other day. Like, that's why this alt season may be different. But if you're in solid altcoins, solid projects that actually have community, a vision, and even if it's a meme, if it's memeable and funny and people can like it, you stand a good chance at making some big money once this thing really heats up. But let's jump into
you got to be able to hold down. Is it jump into Algorand?
Yeah, let's jump into some.
So I'm gonna pull the Twitter up here, so we can kind of go through, because they've been tweeting a lot. A lot of things are happening, and I will say one thing: there's supposed to be a commercial coming out.
I've been waiting for it. It was supposed to come out on Monday.
Yeah. I don't know what day. Today, Wednesday, at the time of this video. Y'all watching on Thursday. It was supposed to be out, so I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I am very, very, very curious of how they're gonna, what their aim objective is there. And I saw a couple of the algo found, Era Life Algo, Barb, Rich Flair. It seems like they might have had, some appearances. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see if any of them got any major leading roles or if they were just some support roles. If they, it's going to be funny.
I want to see actors in there, but
yeah,
we will see. So looking at some of these recent ones right here, NFT art is back on the rise. So they're doing a call for artists and creators. We went to the last Decipher. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more. Nothing to share with y'all right now. But Decipher is coming up in June, next month, at the end of the month. And they're looking for artists. And right now you have a chance to win 5,000 algo. So they're supporting the community there. Let me go down a little bit. There's a few more. And here's a big one, I think. They're trying to hire a head of marketing right now. So Algorand just hired the new CMO, and it looks like he's been very active. And this may be one of the new plays here to get somebody to literally just focus on the products. Like Python is the main thing, Algo Kit, that they're pushing. And if you're a head of product marketing, put in your shot. I know the bag will be very big if you get that position.
Right. That'll make probably the developers tweet that we're going to look at here in a second look like chump change, but definitely be, if you got the credentials to apply for that one.
Definitely. And so then let's see, where was it? PyCon is coming up. They're visiting PyCon. I saw, what was his name? He came on our show. I'm drawing a blank. He's on Era Life Algo all the time. But anyways, he's pulling
Joe Polney?
Yeah, excuse me, Joe Polney. Joe Polney will be out there speaking. He's a good speaker. We've seen him do a presentation in Dubai as well at the last Decipher. So he's out there educating. They recently did that India tour as well with Algo Bharat. So he's been kind of popping around, educating people about Python. And then let me pull that other tweet up right here.
Yeah, this
is the Python developer tweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you know the average Python developer makes $85K a year? Meanwhile, the average blockchain developer makes $140K a year. Now, Python developers can become blockchain developers by coding with pure Python. This is still something that I think is good for Algorand's long-term viability with getting the next generation of developers to build on chain. Because it is funny. I've seen, being in the base ecosystem, right? I see, especially this past few weeks with Ethereum's price tanking and the vibes kind of going back down again in certain spots, people starting to say, if Ethereum dies, crypto's dead. And I'm just like, it's just not true still. Like, I don't believe that to be true because I still don't see Ethereum as the best technology and the best thing that's out there. Yes, it's definitely the biggest. It's definitely currently, I would say, the most decentralized in certain aspects. But to say that obviously it would be a massive hit, and there'd be, I don't hope that Ethereum dies or anything like that. But there is still a big need for, your everyday developers who use the easiest languages to code and them not have such a high level entry to learn how to code on a blockchain, especially with the hacks we're seeing. I saw a 10 million hack on Optimism on Sown Finance, all because the coders didn't, do something right when they forked the Aave and compound code. And it's like, I bet if it's all in Python and it's been an easier language to program in, I bet we wouldn't see so many errors because people are having to learn entirely new programming languages. So I'm super excited. Obviously, if you are a developer, if you are someone in the space, you should be building these, trying to find the grants, trying to find the positions where you can build some of the new things that are going to be for Web3 and for the future of finance. But still huge. I think that Python is behind Algorand, and I think making that partnership and really pushing into it will be big for them.
Yeah, and this, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this article here was an interview written in this magazine, but what they're talking about is the 8 points of, Python. So easy learning curve, that's what you were just kind of talking about. Then the power of disintermediation. I'm not quite sure what that one is. We'll have to dive in deeper, but I know immutability and transparency, right? We got open source development. And again, it's I'll say the #1 language that people are using, easy to audible, trustworthy AI systems, decentralized identity solutions. And this is Mark, the new CMO, talking about this. Internet of Things, micropayments. Last week, we just had Chirp on, and that's what they were talking about, the Internet of Things. We know Helium, Planet Watch, and all of that. They're all part of the Internet of Things. And Hesba Pay with the micropayments. And then we got innovative new ownership models. And when I think about that, I think about Lofty AI, how they're doing tokenized ownership. So there's a whole bunch of things here that Python makes it a lot easier. And again, I'm not a developer. We're not developers, but I do understand that Python is that, #1. Because Algorand used to have PyTheal, and they was doing a few other things. But now the craze is to make sure that you're developing on Python. And it makes sense to me.
It's interesting. You said something, innovative new ownership models, and it makes me come back to, the whole idea that it's a war right now, and you're seeing it play out in, like, I know Mark Yesko has been on our show plenty of times, and he's always said, this is the then they fight you phase, right?
Yep.
I just want to say this, the then they fight you phase, this is a fight that is like the old guard versus the new guard, right? You have this old money, this old way of doing things, and the people, I will say, the Charles Schwab's or Klaus, whatever the dude name is from the World Economic Forum that wants to everybody think, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, right? You have that side of the aisle, that mentality versus this new age side that says, we want to own everything. Like, we want to own our keys. We want to own every bit, so you can't own any of it. And we have to sign for you to even use it. That is the fight that we're seeing play out. And it's like, that's what still keeps me excited about crypto, excited about this space and what's being built. And I still think with Algorand being, having the #1 programming language be accessible, that speaks to the next generation. Like, where are they going to choose? Where are they going to choose to code that's the easiest and the fastest? In my opinion, they're probably, and this is the biggest thing, as long as it's marketed to them and they actually know about it, because that's the biggest thing with Algorand is nobody knows what the heck it is in the Web 2 world. As long as this smart guy who took Android and helped Android really become a household name, as long as he can do the same thing with Algorand, I don't see any reason why Algorand can't become a household name like Ethereum, and tons of really innovative and new dApps being built and created on chain.
Well, so and a big thing, hopefully Mark can do this. And again, we'll have Mark on our show May 30th. So y'all get your questions ready. We'll get some tweets out as well to talk about it, but make sure that we really, we're going to drill in on the kind of the plan. He'll share what he can and really focus on Python. But if Algorand can position itself where it's just like, because eventually the word is going to leave from like, oh, I'm a crypto developer. It's going to turn into blockchain, right? And if Algorand can position itself and to like, hey, this is a blockchain rather than EVM, AVM, and all of this type of things, that thing kind of got to go out, in my opinion, and just like, hey, I develop on blockchain and the language you use is Python. I think that resonates more with people rather than, is my app EVM compatible? What are the fees? Those are things I think people should not be worried about in the near future, and hopefully Algorand could be in position.
Yeah, and that's still one reason also why I think that Base is doing a good job with the jargon that they're using and trying to say, hey, you're not building, you know, we're going to lead with this is you're building on base, but it's on chain, just like online, right?
On chain, yep.
It's trying to make it seem like this isn't a big step. This is just, it's the same thing. It's the same internet. It's the same way we communicate, way we connect with each other. But now you're doing it in a way where you can build the same apps, but decentralize them and make them and have ownership where people can actually own what they're doing and their data, their tokens, you know, you name it, right? If they want to do property, real estate, stocks, all this stuff, it's all going to be just a little bit different. And that's why I'm excited to see what Base does, especially with, you know, even with Coinbase, with these new wallets. How easy are they going to be, right? How easy is it going to be for the average new user who's coming into the market right now to be able to download a Coinbase wallet, put some money in it, and play around with DeFi or NFTs or something, and not feel like they gotta be handheld and walk through it? Because I usually I have to walk everyone through it, and I'm talking like every single step of the way. Like if this space is going to grow the way we need it to, it has to be easy, like it is with someone just turning on their computer, going to Google and, you know, searching up whatever they want to search and then doing it, buying something or whatever it is.
Yeah,
like
I just got a phone call from a family member. They were talking about, well, and this is why, like you said, Base has an advantage.
Yeah.
He's like, I got my Coinbase account set up. He wanted me to walk him through some things, but what he said was a big indicator to me. He got his Coinbase account, he got his Bitcoin, he got some Ethereum, right? And the third thing he said was, I got a Coinbase wallet. And he didn't talk about any other, you know, other things. So to him, crypto is Coinbase is his exchange, and Coinbase wallet is that other wallet that you need. So I think for anyone to win at this point with this new wave of people, you have to integrate with Coinbase, and you need to be in that Coinbase wallet, because I don't think they're going to have it in them to go get them all these other wallet names where Coinbase has the trust. So, so he was already there, you know, Coinbase wallet.
Yeah, that's, you know, that is still one of the reasons why I think Base is a solid play, even if it is just kind of like a experimental thing for Coinbase, because I know, like, you know, Coinbase is fully regulated. Obviously, Base is still, you know, I'm not fully regulated. Obviously, there's, you know, meme coins and anything can get spun up on there, but it is kind of interesting to see that. But you know, you do have to think that, you know, most people, right, are going to choose a name that they know or they've heard of or that they've used before. And most people, if you ask them, hey, and you're in the United States, or if you're buying crypto, where are you buying it on? I feel like 80-90% plus are going to say on Coinbase. And so when they roll out,
if you know stocks, then you know you can look up Coinbase stock, and that makes you more comfortable, I think, you know, off the top. So,
yeah, but I think Coinbase is kind of like the Robin Hood, right, for traditional finance, you know, for crypto. And I think the Coinbase wallet, I know, you know, technically, I guess you have a Robin Hood wallet, right? But Coinbase wallet's just going to be that next layer of, like, it's not going to feel like it's a separate entity. It's just going to feel like I buy, you know, it's just where my crypto's at, and it gives me the access to all of the things on Base or the super chain. So they'll be able to, you know, like I saw Coinbase Duck. He's one of the, I guess, ambassadors for Base or Coinbase. But he was just like, you know, why would I have a bank account, right, when I can put my USDC, I can buy USDC on, you know, Coinbase and be earning 5% for it there. And then if I want to, I could put it on, you know, Aerodrome or Moonwell, right? I could put it on Moonwell and earn another 10% for staking dollars, right? And I think as more people open up their eyes to that, they'll see the value that's out there. And I think that's when you'll get the massive liquidity push. Because like I said, like we said at the top of the show, we're in the banana zone. So liquidity is going up. And that seemed backed by, you can go look at the M2 money supply. Like, they want liquidity. Like, these politicians, they are ready to print money and get and whatever means they got to do to make us, you know, print more money. They're going to print more money.
Yeah, because you don't want to do what Senator Mendez was doing, taking gold bars and cash from foreign governments. So they don't want to do that. They want to do what Pelosi's doing. Her account hit an all-time high from reports there. So that's something. But on that note, we're going to close out, y'all. Anything else we got to share? We got a show next week. We got
I think we're going to have
on the 30th.
Yeah, I think we're going to have Chain Gab coming on next week. We're going to have, we're going to be talking about them, talking with Bark the Shark, seeing what he has going on over there. So excited to see more, maybe some more alpha and maybe he'll have some drinks on the live show this time instead of the night before.
All right, on that one, y'all, we'll see you next week for episode 108. Thank you all for tapping in. Till the next time.
Peace.